All right. Well, I don't know what happened, boys. I got off stream. I went to eat, take a break, step away from the game. I came back and I hit a couple good recoms, and I decided, all right, well, I'll do a couple maps with them and see how it feels. And it felt insane. I started raining currency. The snowball began, and I just started going crazy on idle recomming. So sorry I didn't stream it, but I did want to go into what I know about recomming. In this previous video, I talked a lot about the strategies that I was going to use, the build, the whatever. But I talked a little bit about recomming and like the simple dumbed down version of how to do it. In this video, I want to talk about the advanced version as far as I know how to do it on a higher end to try to help get you guys going with some currency here. Now I'll briefly show the whole set. Basically what had happened, I spent the whole day on day one not getting any upgrades for my character and just throwing every chaos into Arcanus and Diviners because I was picking these up for like 1 to 3 chaos a piece, which ended up creating a little bit of snowball that I couldn't quite access yet because it still wasn't that great with just these. And then eventually I got a couple of strongbox with strongboxes are rare, although I didn't have that. I think I just had just a 2 strongbox on here and then a 2 strongbox with explicit on this, and then I got lucky and recommed these 2 down here with 2 strongbox and just explicit. The openable was not on these at all at this stage. That's the expensive part, but you don't need it. The strats are very good without it. Just having those 2 mods on 4 conquerors sent my maps from feeling kind of okay to holy shit, what is going on? I personally just go in to trade right now at the moment until I get a Atlas farming strategy, and I just sort by item quantity and buy 100% plus maps. And for a while there, I was self-rolling the boxes because I didn't have them as rare. It was more expensive than I was willing to invest to get the boxes going. Initially, once you have them going, you're making too much currency to care. But anyways, these to do just the 2 affix ones, I did it all for like 10 divine, including the 3x1, maybe 15 divine if I include the 3x1. It was so damn cheap, and then these are like nothing. They cost probably 10 chaos to recom outside of the dust. If this is still too expensive for you, and sorry for the live pings in the background, I'm actually going to use that to give you a demonstration of what I'm going to be talking about here, so I'm letting those build up. But that's for the future here. Just have to bear with it for now. But if you want a cheaper strat, I have another one for you. Somebody shared it with me. We traded something, and I picked his brain, and he gave me a strat. I think he'll be cool with me sharing it because he's used it and abused it to be able to farm a strongbox set, so he's moving on. But he said it was absolutely insane. It's beast farming. I think he was finding 25 or something Black Morgans an hour, which is fucking absurd. And the strongbox set was, I believe, 20 divine to put together. And if you go ahead and use this sniping strat and some of the things I'll talk about here, you could probably do it for 10 divine, I would think, maybe even cheaper. All right, so let's get into it. PoE 2 recom or PoE 1 recom? Which one do we use? Personally, I think you want to use PoE 1 recom, but I think you want to do it with the blue idols. In the previous video, I said that you should just take a single affix blue idols and then slam those together to make your idol, and that is true, but there are certain situations where you wouldn't want to do that and where you could save some currency and or speed up your recoming process by going and using rares or certain situations where you want to use rares. I'm going to try to. This is very confusing. I'm going to do my best to make this as simple as possible. But let's okay. This is as far as I understand it. So if you go into PoEDB and you look at Conquer Idols, if you don't know where that's at, it's just on their main page. When you open it up, you'll see idols here. Go into idols, and we can have a look at Conquerors or any idol, but we use Conquerors as a demonstration, and you can see that they have weightings. What this means, let's say we're combining Strongbox and where's the other one? Is Strongboxes are rares over on this side too, I believe. But you can see that it has 1,000 weighting. If you go and look at some of the more challenging ones, like oh, this is where rares. My bad. We have rare and corrupted, which you don't want to use, but rare and chances to be openable again is somewhere around here. You can see that the weightings are very low. And what this is going to mean is that when you use the PoE 1 recom, where you keep one idol and you don't poof your idols, then the lower the weighting, the higher the chance that the mod is going to have to fall off. Meaning that your rare, challenging ones, and usually the most expensive ones, are going to have the highest chance to be deleted. So how can we use that to our advantage? Well, if we go in and select, let's say, 2 of the rare ones that we would want to recombinate together, we could still do it on a magic base. We could probably pick it up for significantly cheaper than we could a single affix, but the secondary mod that is along with it is going to make a difference. So I can almost guarantee you that anything that has a chance to spawn something is going to be a high weighting. Let's have a look. 2,000 weighting, meaning that if I buy this one, most likely in most cases, this is going to be the one that is kept if I try to slam it into another uh, idle, right? So if I were to try to get openable on something, and let's say 2% increased effect per explicit, I would, in a situation, let's say I had a single affix, 2% increased explicit, and I slammed it in. Almost, in most cases, it's going to take this one and not this one. So this might not be very good value to use. However, if we keep scrolling down and we look for something, well, like this, 2 harbingers, most likely this is 1,000 weighting, I would guess, because that's what the strong boxes is. Chance to contain an additional harbinger. Yes, 1,000 weighting. So this one would technically be significantly better value than this one here, right? Well, they're different mods, but you get what I'm saying still. All of these chances to spawn shit would be bad, and so what you would want to do is just have an active search and keep an eye on that. If you wanted to go really detailed, I don't do this, but if you wanted to go really deep in, you could filter out all the things that have high weightings, and then that way you'd only be active searching for low weightings. But that's a little deep. You don't have to do all that, although that would be the better way to do it. Just to clarify this section here, you don't have to take lower weightings. Like I would take 1,000 weighting if the price of the idol was good, but you really want to try to avoid like 2,000 weighting types of things. Try to shoot for 1,000 or below, ideally. It's very simple to do this. It would take you 10 minutes, and then you could just control copy the search and never lose it again. And it would be the better way to active search. If you don't know how to do it, the way you would do it is you click on Add Stack Group, and then click on this little thing here and go to not, and then you would just start typing in not chance for deposits, right? I don't remember which one it was. You'd have to go in, but you just do that, not chance for abyss, right? Some shit like that, and you would just create a whole list of all those high weightings ones. So when you do see these come up and they're with other things, that won't be with high weighting mods, right? And you'd obviously get this one out of there too, and all the other ones, and then you would active search and try to snipe these. Again, I personally don't go that detailed into it. 90% of my sniping is just waiting for single affix idols. It's easy. I just do it while I'm mapping around. I'll portal out when I see one come up, and I'll race to their hideout and try to grab it. And that crafted 90% of my idol set. But you can go deeper, and it can be helpful, and you can speed up your idol crafting process quite a bit by understanding this, and it'll give you a lot more options to work with. Okay, so that is important to understand. We don't have to use it, but it is good to know because there's certain situations where you can use that to recom better and get more rare idols for cheaper. But this is the bulk of how I crafted my shit for so cheap. If I've left this active search up for a while, you're gonna see we had a strong box as our rare come up for 45 chaos. We had 2% increased explicit come up for 30 chaos, and another one for 35 chaos. And that's quite curious because if we go to search this without an active search, you'll see that these usually sit around 100. The strong boxes are rare is going to be around 2 divine along with the additional strong boxes. Most of the stuff is around a divine to 2. So how are we getting it at half a quarter price? Why are these people listing it at such a cheap price? Well, it's very simple because people don't know what they're doing. So if we go to price check this, it's going to look like strong boxes are rare are just 60 chaos. However, if you select magic, now they're 2 divines. No one is clicking this magic button, so they don't realize that they're just giving you 4 times the value than they actually are. Right? Like if we select rare here and we go look at those same idle sets, you're going to see that 2% increased explicit is around 40 chaos. If I keep scrolling down, we'll probably find the rare and the additional strong boxes and stuff. It's going to be eaten up by this at the moment, but uncheck that real quick. Strong boxes are rare around 60 chaos. right? Very, very cheap, much cheaper than 2 divine each. You can craft your set for a fourth of the price. You just have to be a little patient. You have to put on active search, and you have to wait for these people who don't know what they're doing to start throwing in idols, and then you snipe them. And there are a lot. You get a lot of these idols. I crafted this entire set in probably 3 hours just using entirely sniped idols. Um, you can. It's very easy to do this and doesn't take much time. I will say there is one thing though, trying to do it in your own time zone does make a bit of a difference because you will not be the only one trying to get these. It's going to be kind of a race. Like in one situation, I think it was just me and one other guy, and I would get half and he would get half. But when I was staying on top of it, he couldn't beat me because the hideouts I was going into were from NA, and he couldn't load in fast enough, being from I assume EU. So it is worth mentioning you'll have an easier time doing this if you're at your own area's prime time. But yeah, using all this information, we can start to make these big juicy idols. Basically, if you don't want to understand the majority of this as far as like weightings go and whatever, then all you're going to do is choose whatever strategy you want to do. It doesn't have to be strong boxes. It can be anything. This league is open to do whatever you want. Like I said, the guy who was finding 30 Black Morgans just doing that, right? And those idle sets are nothing. There's all these non-popular hidden strats that can be scaled up to insane amounts through Phrecia. Just get a little creative and start throwing some idols in active search. But if you don't want to understand any of the Recomb odds and whatever, then all you're going to do is buy single affix idols, just like with the example showed here, right? You're going to select whatever sets of idols, as many as you can get in for the whole project you're trying to do, and then you'll do count, one, and add stack group, and count, one, and then you'll do empty prefix and empty suffix so that you're always, and then select magic, and that way you'll always see just single affix idols for whatever you're trying to recom, and then you just slam these into each other, right? So I would just combine 2 with 2 strongbox. Generally, I like to do the 2 cheapest ones first, and then you'll slam in the expensive one at the end. This is generally the better way to go about it. So like in this case, I would constantly keep slamming these together, and then once I had them together, I would use openable again to slam in at the end. And you can make a very strong idle set like that so long as you're patient. The gold and the dust is a problem. I haven't looked. I was kind of hoping that they made a change to the dust. I haven't seen if they've updated anything. Maybe they have because it's definitely a little over the top. But you can use the website that I was showing for dust yesterday. It's very good. I'll show it again here. It's just this. And then you can go in and say, it's not always 100% accurate. The dust is accurate, but the price isn't always accurate. But let's say, okay, 183 chaos feels good for 2400. Not saying that it is. I'm just saying let's pretend that you find the one that you like, and then you can go in and find that. But it has a lot of oddball ones that I didn't know had so much dust. Say like replica Eternity Shroud, 100 or 50 chaos for 1 million. Pretty fucking good, right? Not bad at all. You could also check multiple of these, open the trade up, multi-item trade, and then we could throw in an active search and then try and snipe these as well if you want. But in general, I haven't really had that much problems with dust. I've thrown a handful of divines into it, and it's gotten me like 10 million dust. It's not been that bad because of this website. As far as the gold goes, it is a little expensive as well, but you do this once and you're pretty much good on gold for a while. So you go into TFT and you go to map hosting and you just grab one of these gold guys, go run with them for a little bit, and get yourself a couple million gold, and then you're good to go on gold for the rest of the league. And here we go. The alternate way, if you're trying to recom a little bit faster, we can use what we learned earlier about the idols to try and recom some a little bit easier. So what you would do, let's say you were trying to get +2 strong boxes and chance to be, or have them be rare as well. You can go in and you can grab like a single affix +2 strong box, and then go grab a double affix chance to be rare, but just make sure that the blue idol that has strong boxes for rare, the secondary affix on that idol also has a low weight, so you increase your odds that it's going to fall off when you recom with strong boxes. I hope that made sense. I'll explain a little bit more visually because I feel like that was a rough way to word that. Strong boxes are rare, has a 300 weight, so it's very likely to fall off. So what you would want to do is try to find blue idols that have also similar weighting on the prefix when it's a magic idol. So something like increased chance for abyss or layers of delirium, because that's going to give you a much higher odds that when you recom your blue single affix with the double affix one, that this will stay and that this will fall off, right? and then that way, hopefully, the idea is you get together a 2 affix idle after that with the 2 mods that you want, and you could probably do it for significantly cheaper because the single affixes are just more expensive and harder to come by if you're not sniping them. I'm not sure I explained this completely perfectly, but basically, just to start an idle set, to get my first 2 mods isolated together, I would combine a 2 affix with a 1 affix, and I'm hoping that they combine, and the third one that I don't want falls off, so that I have just a 2 affix idle. And then moving there from there, I will slam in a single affix idle. I would only ever start an idlecraft with this method. I would never finish one, because if you try to finish one with it, and it takes that mod that you don't want, it's going to make your idle very sloppy, and then it's going to be hard to progress from there. You're just going to end up losing currency in idles. So only ever start with a 2 and a 1 affix idle, slamming together, and you're just hoping that falls off. And you only do this if you can get the idles for a cheap price, because there are high odds that it's not going to work out favorably for you, and you're going to take the mod that you don't want. So you only do this in a situation where you get things for very cheap, and yeah, we would only do this because there's a lot more options available if you decide to go for a 2 affix one, especially on some of the rare mods like openable again, or for whatever strategy you happen to be farming. And then lastly, when to use the PoE2 one. So what I was finding is that I was having a really hard time sustaining the strong boxes are openable again with them being blue. There's almost none on the market, right? And you can use this again for whatever idle set you're using, but the same concept will apply. Openable again is rare, and so it's even more rare that I can find them in quantity on blue for as much as I'm going to need them to, recom together. So in a situation like this is when I'm going to revert to the PoE2 crafting method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy rare idols with 1 mod that I want, and then the other rare idol with the mod that I want, because this is significantly cheaper than 6 to 8 divine, which is what these openable agains are usually sitting at when they're blue. And not only are they cheaper, but they're more plentiful. Even if you have the currency, just finding these as blue is very, very rare. There's not a lot in the market. Holy shit, can I buy that? I don't think I have the currency. Shit. Okay, this is where it gets sketchy, right? I still don't think I have the currency. Racing against time is going to be gone in a second. Huge. That's a monster find. Can't believe I'm getting sniped. Usually when that happens, somebody will come in behind me and buy that under my feet. All right, but aside from that one that I just happened to find, these are very, very rare. If you're going to use the PoE2 mechanic, there is no point in getting them blue. You just always get them rare because there's way more of them and they're way cheaper. Don't ever get them blue. Well, I just used all my currency to give you the example that I was going to, but basically let's pretend that both of these idols are just sloppy doppy idols, and everything on them is bad except for this one will have chance to open strongbox, and this one will have 2% increase explicit, and you don't care about the rest. In this case, if you can get them for both cheap, which you should, you can get these for 40 chaos each, and then these you can usually snipe them is what I do. Even when they're rare, you can get them for pretty cheap, but we'll say at 1.5 divine each, and you're trying to isolate these two together. That's when you would use the PoE2 method, and you would recom these together for a 22% chance, which means you're going to fail more often than not, but you get them for significantly cheaper, and there's way more stock of them. And the goal here is to get those together onto 2 so you can slam a 3rd mod into them, or just recom it with whatever else you've been using. In the details of this video, I will post again an example of just combining a very simple 3-affix blue. I'll put it in the details. It's about a 5-minute watch from a live stream I did last Phrecia. Go ahead and click on that if you're still a little uncertain of what I'm meaning here with the easier version to recom. And yeah, past that, I don't know if I can explain it any more than that. I think that's really all I can say. So I'll go into the other strategy that you can do, the beast farming strategy. Keep in mind, this strategy does require you to be able to kill beasts. The guy that I was talking to about the beasts had me help him clear a map. I walked into it. He had 4 Soul Eater Black Morgan standing in one spot. It was pretty hectic. So you need to be prepared. It's most likely they're not going to have Soul Eater on them, but just a heads up, it is beasts in tier 16s, even though you're going to be running it on white maps. But they still can be challenging depending on where you're at. If you're on my build, our build can absolutely handle this. You should hopefully be in Wretched Defilers by now. Most of the stuff is getting pretty plentiful, but if you're not, you will be here soon. But either way, the build goes plenty of fast enough to do a beast farming strategy, right? Like your Pathfinder 600% movement speed usually clears these in um, like 45 seconds. And so if you're on the Wretched Defilers, even without Mage Blood, you should absolutely be able to crush through some Strand maps real quick, looking for these beasts and get just as much currency as you would if you're on Pathfinder, right? We're through the map in 15 seconds. Obviously, you're going to go a little slower, looking for Black Morgans and stuff. If you've never done the beast farming strategy, it was a little overwhelming for me when I first did it previous leagues. But just watch like some guides on it, and within probably an hour, you're going to start to be able to recognize all the beasts almost instantly. They're pretty easy to distinguish, especially something like Black Morgan. He's fucking huge with horns. You can't miss him. Some of the other more subtle ones will take your eye, a little longer to train, but yeah, about an hour in, maybe 2 hours, and you'll be able to recognize every beast almost fucking instantly, even sprinting past them at the speeds that we can. So if you're on my build, it's a great strategy. If you're on another build that can move fast, it's also a great strategy. And this is the idle set that I have for it. These were the notes that I took after talking to him. I'll put these in the details of the video below, but this is essentially what you're looking for. I think the idea here is we're trying to get as many yellow beasts on the map, and then we convert them yellow beasts into red beasts, and then you're going to want one of your 2x2s to have with beasts less common, and then on your small idols you're just targeting the family that you want. I think Black Morgan is the best right now, but have a look around. You can target whatever family you want, whether it be Kraken Chimeral or Vivid Vulture or whatever. But yeah, this should make them appear significantly more, and you're going to have shit tons of yellow beasts. Like, this looks like a really, really promising strategy. I can already say this because I talked to the guy as he was starting it, and with a few hours later, he messaged me saying that he was starting to craft the strongbox set because he'd made so much damn currency from it. So this should be a good one for you. But let's say most of my Phrecia videos haven't been getting that many views, but let's say this one does, and this becomes competitive, then just use the strongbox. Use the recombing on literally any strategy that isn't popular. If you build a 3 affix strongbox set for just about anything in this game, it's going to be insane currency. It's just try to get into one cheap, and then have it start spitting out currency too that you can use to invest in the more expensive ones that you really want to do. But yeah, I think that's really all I got. This came together way faster than I thought. I'm going to finish out my last 4 affix idol and get openable again on this. And then I think I'm probably done. I'm not going to go as crazy min-max as I did. I think what I want to do is I want to start kind of checking out some of the other strategies in the game and exploring around. Maybe testing out that Scarabs. I'm thinking about doing a Surfcast Spark character. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing. But I definitely want to test out some other strategies and just use this set to farm for them. And yeah, if you want to stop in the stream and see how it's going, the Twitch is in the link on my YouTube channel. And I also stream at a little bit less quality on YouTube as well. So yeah, stop by and say hi. All right, good luck with your league, boys.